What kind of images and emotions does it bring you when you hear the word father? A firm protector of the family, a reliable provider, a mentor and moral compass for the children, and ultimately a loving parent who's hard on the surface but warm inside. I guess a father is supposed to be all of them in the ideal world, but our reality hardly ever lives up to an ideal. Korea has been a very patriarchal culture up until recent decade. A father could probably expect to enjoy the privilege as the patriarch, but also had to fill the huge role as the provider, protector, and the guardian of order and discipline. A father was not supposed to be soft, emotional, and, God forbid, weak. But let's be honest, not every man was born capable to fill that cup. Fathers in today's stories are far from the ideal. They are all alcoholics, even violent and abusive. Their weakness not only makes their children suffer, but also seemingly invites something weird, verging into the paranormal territory. But we get to see at least some of them had a deep love and care for their children, if in a warped way. As terrible as they were still fathers after all. So, here are 3 allegedly true, weird stories about terrible alcoholic fathers. As always, handpicked, translated, and narrated by a host. Anthony. In the neighborhood of my childhood lived a Mr. Kim, a confirmed alcoholic. The 40-something guy got violent when he was drunk, and his poor son, a good friend to my older brother, often took a refugee at my family home to escape his father. His mother had long abandoned the family because she couldn't stand her husband anymore. Once the mother was gone, the target of the father's drunken rampage became the poor boy. One night, the boy ran to us once again. It was nothing new, but his pale face and stuttering voice screamed something more than usual was going on. My dad has gone strange, very strange, he said. What do you mean? Calm down and tell me what's going on, my dad said, trying to calm him down. He's drinking and behaves like there's somebody else in the room, but there's nobody. Mr. Kim might get violent when drunk, but that was indeed very unusual behavior even for him. As the boy calmed down, he added more details. His father set out a table with 2 glasses and behaved as if there was a guest across the table, filling up the second glass and chattering on. Unlike his usual drunken self, he was utmost polite, like serving a big boss than a drinking buddy. At first, his son almost sighed of relief for his father not behaving violently for once. But then, "What are you doing, little brat? Come and greet the guest. He is generously offering to help us," his father barked at the boy. "But, Dad, there's nobody," his father responded with slapping the boy's face. "Are you kidding me? He didn't come all this way to see an insolent brat," he yelled. And at that point, the terrified boy ran to my family. My father called some other guys in the neighborhood and together came over to Mr. Kim's house to check, and was baffled to see that the alcoholic guy was indeed behaving exactly as his son described. "Hey, Mr. Kim, what are you doing?" my dad said. "Hey guys, I seem to get lots of guests tonight. Come join us then. Let me introduce you my guest of honor here," Mr. Kim said and waved towards the empty seat across the table.
"He came a long way and graciously offers to help me. It's the least I could do to offer him my humble drink, isn't it?"
My dad and others, of course, thought he must have gone totally mad, and said, "Mr. Kim, shake yourself up. Just go to bed if you had enough. Think of your poor boy." A more temperamental neighbor, Mr. Hong, said more bluntly, "Knock it off! Aren't you even ashamed? No wonder your wifey ran away." Mr. Kim smashed the bottle to the wall and shouted,
"You idiot is making my precious guest uncomfortable. Sir, please forgive them. They don't know any better."
"Just gone purely mad now. Come, let's just go. There's no help for this loser," Mr. Hong scoffed and said.
"Shut up, you cuckold! My guest just told me that your wife is having a thing with a uni student next door."
Mr. Kim stood up and snarled at Mr. Hong.
"Shut that dirty mouth, or else!"
Mr. Hong jumped to Mr. Kim, and instantly the scene became messy, with the two going at each other and the others trying to take them apart. But then, the window glass suddenly shattered down all by itself. Everybody was caught by surprise and got silent for a moment. Then Mr. Kim bursted into tears.
Sir, don't go! Please! You sons of bitches! You made him angry and he's gone! You ruined everything!"
People were lost, and just left crying and lamenting Mr. Kim behind. A few days later, two news shook the small neighborhood. First one was that Mr. Hong divorced his wife. Apparently it was true that his wife had an affair with a student guy next door. Second was Mr. Kim took his life. He left the last will, and it was most bizarre too. It read,
"Dear son, I'm sorry I'm an alcoholic loser dad for you. I'm ashamed. There isn't much I can do for you. I thought it was my chance to do one last good thing for you when I ran into this devil guy. He offered a bright future for you for the price of my worthless soul. I have no doubt he was what he claimed to be. He showed me everything in the past and the future like a miracle. But I missed the chance, and the deal was broken. With that, my last hope is gone. I'm sorry, this is the best I can do."
I have a very close friend whom I've known since the second year in primary school. I saw him in my dream last night, and it brought me back this particular memory about him. I'll call him Kim for the sake of the story. Kim was a typical nerd type, bespectacled, smart, and can be sometimes surprisingly slow. I was the naughty troublemaker type. He was often my target of pranks and harmless jokes, and Kim would just patiently laugh with me and never lost temper. At 15, my family immigrated to the US, but I and Kim kept contact. True to his nerd reputation, he went to study maths in the best university of the country. When I came back to Korea to spend some time, he heartily welcomed me back. As if we hadn't lost any years in between, we got along like in the old days. One day, we met to have a drink as usual. His phone rang, but he just gave it one glance and dismissed the incoming call. Well, we were in the middle of a conversation, so I assumed it was for me, but the call kept coming time after time. "Hey, are you chased by a debt or what?" I said.
It's, my dad. Never mind,
Kim said. "Is everything all right home? Or are you breaking a curfew?" Kim scoffed at my joke as usual. But after a few more rounds of drinks, he got serious.
"I've never talked about my dad, have I?"
he said. Well, that's true. Your mother I did meet before I went to the US, and occasions I talked on the phone too, when I called you."
"Well, there's a reason."
And the reason was darker than I ever imagined. Kim's dad was alcoholic. He not only drank a lot, but also got violent when he got drunk. Kim and his younger brother often were his target. He would have them stripped naked and spank with a baseball bat. Such a beating would sometimes carried on for 20-30 minutes at a time. I had no idea. Kim never showed any sign and looked always calm and composed to my eyes.
"Sometimes he would order us to kneel down, and he would stomp on our thighs with his feet. He would carry on till he got exhausted and collapsed. I could take it if it were just for me, but it drove me mad to see my brother suffer the same thing."
Kim's eyes revealed a pain I had never imagined he had. By now, the brothers were grown-up men, while their dad aging an ailing old man, and he could not abuse them anymore. Kim's mother and brother were, for God knows why, dedicated to take care of increasingly frail man, but he would still manage to stick in a bottle every day and lock himself in to empty them. When he got drunk, he would behave like a madman. "What does he do exactly then?" I asked.
"Well, listen to this,"
Kim said, and handed me his phone to me. On the screen was the notification for 17 missed calls and 5 voice messages, all from Kim's dad. Kim then played the voice messages for me to listen. It was a bit husky but calm, pretty average voice of a middle-aged guy.
"Hey son, it's getting late. Come home soon,"
was the first message.
"Hey my boy, you're making me worry. Don't be too late,"
said in the second message. By the third message, the voice was slightly marred by sobs.
"Dad is so tired. Dad is so sad. Son, my boy."
In the fourth message,
"I'm sad. I'm 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 sad."
I must have lost my countenance hearing that, and Kim only calmly looked at me with an expression of, "Now you know." In the final voice message,
"I'm sad. I'm sad. I'm sad. I'm effing sad. I'm gonna kill you. Gonna kill you. Oh, son of a bitch."
my heart skipped a bit listening to that, and quickly put Kim's phone away from my ear. But the dad's loud, screaming, manic laughter, cry, and curse could be still heard. Kim just quietly took the phone and disconnected from the message box.
He does this nowadays. It left me shocked at first too. But now I'm getting used to it,
Kim said. Now, he had his own place, but Kim was still worried about his mother and brother and seeked a way to put his dad in a sanatorium. But they said his dad wasn't mad, just alcoholic, and turned him away. A few months later, I got a call from Kim. He told me his dad was found hung in his room. He left no last will, but left Kim one last voice message.
You little devil! I'll see you in the hell!
Kim said he wouldn't like me to attend the funeral, and he would contact me again. I felt his voice quivering a bit, but he hung up before I could say anything. That's already 2 years ago, and I haven't heard from Kim so far. I have a friend whom I first met in middle school. He lost his father about then, but this story he told me only years later, when we both became adults. It starts about 10 days before his father passed. Let me call the friend Hyungju for the sake of the story. From how Hyungju described, his father loved drinks. My own dad wasn't so different, who often got violent when drunk, so I could tell the complex layers of emotions and experience he must have had behind that simple statement. That night, Hyungju's father came back home drunk as usual, stinking of alcohol. But he didn't look just drunk, but tense and almost scared, as if chased by something.
Go and lock up the front door, quickly!
He shouted. Hyungju ran to the door and latched it up.
I told you to lock up! Why haven't you already? Why?
Father said. But Dad, I did lock up, Hyungju said.
No! Go and check it again. Make sure it's locked.
His eyes were wide opened and bloodshot as he shouted. He had seen his father in various stages of drunkenness, but never seen him behaving this way. Hyungju's little sister got already teary and scared. Hyungju went to the door and made sure lock everything up.
How many are there? Did you see how many are there seeking for me?
Father said. What?
Outside the door! How many are there?
There's nobody, Dad.
You idiot! Don't you hear them knocking? Go and check out how many!
There was nobody and no knock at the door. But Father's panic was so palpable that Hyungju couldn't help but feeling scared himself. What kind of people do you mean? How do they look? Hyungju asked, hoping to be able to reason with his father.
As I come home, your uncle was there, dressed in all black, and behind him were at least 3, or possibly more.
Father's eyes were fixed to the floor as he recounted, clearly picturing the scene in his memory. But uncle, did he say? There was only one uncle in the family, Father's younger brother, and he died a year prior.
Hyungju!
Father lifted his head and called for Hyungju. Yes, Dad?
Your uncle is calling me. You go and tell him to leave me alone.
But Dad...
Listen, he's calling me now. You go and chase him away right now.
Hyungju's sister was crying out loud by then, and Hyungju himself felt like crying. He didn't want to do as his father commanded and confirm his manic fantasy, but if he didn't, he could beat him. But before he could decide what to do, Father screamed and dropped on the floor. His eyes were glaring at the room door, and he desperately wiggled to back up.
Lock up the door!
His scream made Hyungju jump and almost instinctively lock up the bedroom door.
Why did you leave the front door opened?
But I locked it.
Then how come those people are in the house now?
Hyungju wished he could just run away from this hellish situation. His dad was in a manic state and his sister was crying and screaming. But at one corner of his mind, he also wondered, what if what his dad was saying were true?
Go away! Back off!
Hyungju's father screamed and backed up all the way to the corner of the room. His wild eyes were definitely seeing something that terrified him to death.
Please go! No!
Now he dropped on the floor, covered his head with his arms, and almost begged. Such a scene continued for about 10 minutes. Father's whimper got gradually sparser, and finally came to silence. He lifted his head and looked around the room.
Hyungju, where's your uncle?
What do you mean, Dad?
Where's he gone? When?
Hyungju had no idea what to reply.
No, I can't just sit here and wait,
Father said, and ran out of the house, mumbling something to himself. As scary and desperate the instant was, Hyungju thought it was just another episode from his alcoholic father. But it wasn't to be one-off. A couple of nights later, Hyungju woke up in the middle of the night for no apparent reason. His poor family home had only one bedroom, and the whole family slept in that room, his parents on each end and he and his sister in between. He quickly checked the clock and saw it was 3 a.m. Then he saw his father was up. Hyungju thought to ask him what he was doing, but remembered how weird he recently was and stopped himself. He was sitting there, motionless. He was clearly staring at something intensely. So focused he was that his mouth was left half opened too. Hyungju realized he was looking at the room door and turned his head towards it himself. The door opened itself ajar. How could a closed door open by itself, Hyungju wondered. He rolled his eyes to the window and confirmed they were closed too. Well, of course, didn't he close it himself earlier because it was rainy night? Before he could wonder further, his father, who'd been so far still as a stone statue, pulled the duvet over him. And with that, Hyungju sensed that something entered the room. Father's wide-eyed gaze confirmed that. His gaze was following the move of the intruder across the room and stopped at Hyungju. No, not quite. More like behind Hyungju. Hyungju had to silently gasp when he felt a chill right behind his ears. It wasn't just like a cold air, but more like a cold slime sticking around the back of his ears.
Jong-sik, no!
Father's shout was rough and desperate. It was so loud, and yet Hyungju's mom and sister didn't even stir from their sound sleep. It confirmed once again that it was no normal situation, and he could just silently drop tears. His father's eyes were still fixated behind Hyungju. Hyungju then realized the name father just called out was his dead uncle's. Did it mean the chilling presence behind him was his late uncle?
No, Jong-sik, please no, please!
His father begged the presence behind Hyungju.
Please, not Hyungju, not my boy!
What did he mean? Did the dead uncle came to take Hyungju with him?
No!
Father screamed desperately one more time and almost flew over to Hyungju, wrapping him over with his whole body. Like a response, the room door flung open and violently crushed to the wall 3 times, and still flung back and forth like a desperate flutter of a bird's wing. It was then Hyungju saw what looked like a white smoke or shadow forming by the door side. The shadow moved to the door, and it stopped the violent flying back and forth.
Father!
Hyungju's father exclaimed. Did that mean the shadow was Hyungju's late grandpa? Hyungju passed out at that point, and when he woke up, it was already the morning. His father behaved as if he knew nothing about the night's incident, but Hyungju didn't dare to ask about it because his father looked unusually somber and serious. 3 days passed. It was another rainy day, and the washing had to get hung to dry in the room. There was a line across the room for that purpose. Father came back home, and for once, Hyungju couldn't smell alcohol in his breath. Strangely, he went to the wardrobe as soon as he came home. From the deep inside of the bottom drawer, he took out hanbok, the traditional outfit. What must have been once white were now a bit yellow with age. Not just one, but 3 sets of them. He laid them carefully on the floor, one next to the other.
They are from your grandpa and grandma,
Father said. He then sent Hyungju out on an errand to buy some bottles of drinks from the corner shop. Hyungju felt worried if Father wouldn't get drunk again and repeat another manic scene. But somehow he looked a bit different that evening, and he brought him the bottles as was told.
Bring me a soup bowl from the kitchen,
was his next command. When Hyungju brought it, Father emptied an entire bottle of soju in the bowl and pushed all the washings on the drying line to one side and hung up the old hanbok there instead. The long ribbon ties of the traditional shirts draped almost down to the floor. The father then dipped the ends of those ribbons into the bowl full of alcohol, saying,
Enjoy it, Dad.
To Hyungju's surprise, he saw the ribbons sucking up the drinks all the way up to the other end, as if somebody was sucking it up through a straw. The entire bowl full of drinks sucked up by the pair of ribbons from the shirt, and they even didn't drip a single drop. Regardless of Hyungju's surprise, His father just poured another bottle in the bowl and dipped the ribbons of the second shirt.
"Now it's your turn, Mom,"
he said. This time the ribbon sucked up to halfway, but didn't go further.
"Yes, Mom, I forgot you didn't particularly enjoy drinking,"
Father said. As if saying, "Indeed I don't," the ribbon dropped out of the bowl by itself. And 3 days after that weird ritual, Hyungju's father passed away. Hyungju's voice recounting the story was full of bittersweet remorse. Was his dead uncle really came for him? And did his father offer himself to save Hyungju? His father, who was a terrible drunkard, irresponsible and even occasionally violent father, yet was his last desperate act the sign of his fatherly love after all? Hi, it's Anthony here, and thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. The subject of father is not an easy one for me. My father was not exactly an alcoholic or downright abusive, but he has been an unhappy and weak man. Worrisome, passionless, touchy, self-centered and stubborn. Well, I guess I should feel a bit guilty to call my own father thoroughly charmless. He did care for me a lot because I was the only son, but I don't think there ever was a true connection. Oh dear, maybe you have much better things to say about your father. And in that spirit, let me throw an age-old question at you. Whom do you love more, Mom or Dad? If you enjoyed my work, please give it a big thumbs up in the comment, and please consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't yet. If you'd support me more directly, I have a Buy Me a Coffee account. The link's in the description, and there's also a super thanks option here on YouTube for a small donation. Thank you. Next episode is already going to be the last new episode of the season. Until then, stay safe and take care.